sector is clear.
Give us everything we got! All wings!
Bad you have to count on bounty hunters. Come closer. We're outnumbered. Say farewell.
Okay, so at the number 10 spot, we have Boba Fett. Now, it's not that Boba Fett isn't a good villain, it's just for the fact that he is not a good villain. So, let's start with his health. So his health is extremely low. It's the same as Bosk's because of a buff, but it still doesn't help him at all. And his abilities are great. He does have 4 abilities. 2 of them are insane. His Rocket Barrage is a very good ability, and if you have star cards, makes it even more powerful. And then his L1 R1 ability gives him infinite fuel and allows him to spot enemies, which is useful only for the unlimited fuel. I don't think I've ever actually used it for spotting enemies. His jetpack is literally the thing he relies on. Without his jetpack, Boba is absolute garbage. So if you run out of fuel and your L1 R1 ability isn't ready, you're not going to do very well. His dashes are okay, his blaster damage is kind of low, and his concussion rocket is just a joke. So there's really, if you're going to pick a hero to play, unless you feel like collecting salt because you just run away the entire match and deal damage from behind your team, then go ahead. But if that's not the type of player you are, then do not pick Boba. Okay, so at the number 9 spot, we have Iden Versio. Now, Iden, in her previous state, was incredible. She really was constantly in the top 3 for a lot of lists that I would see. But now she's really taken a hit when it comes to her nerfs. Her pulse cannon is just absolute garbage. Her droid shield is good for escaping blasters, but you cannot attack through it, and lightsabers can hit dead through it, and so can melee attacks from blaster heroes. So it's quite a useless ability. And then her stun droid used to be incredible, but because of the nerf to stuns, it doesn't make them stun for nearly as long as they're required to be in order to kill them. So this, and paired with Iden's mediocre health at 650, doesn't make her a very good villain, but that's not to say she isn't good. Her blaster is very good. Her alternate fire is very, very good. It hits through blocks. Both of these are incredibly good blasters, and she does kind of make up for her low health with that. But other than that, there really isn't that much going for her. I mean, she's really taken a turn for the worse in terms of nerfs. She used to be a god, but now Iden has really fallen down the ranks. And it hurts me to say that, because I used to love playing with Iden. But because of her nerfs, I just can't recommend her. Our number 8 spot, General Grievous, the infamous Jedi killer. He was infamous earlier, but not anymore. Due to the stamina changes, making lightsaber users unable to attack or block when they run out of stamina, this really hurt Grievous. He used to be a top tier hero, villain. But because of the stamina changes, he already had extremely low stamina, like the lowest in the game, I'm pretty sure. And then now the fact that he got the nerf with the stamina changes really hurts him, and his star card gives him 40% more damage with his lightsabers, but gives him more damage with his lightsabers, but costs 40% more stamina. And that is bad for him. He already had insanely low stamina. Then if you put on this card, you're not going to be able to do anything. His 3 abilities are pretty great though. His Unrelenting Advance took a really good buff. His Claw Rush is really good, and his Thrust Surge is insane. And his regular damage without star cards is incredible, and his extremely high health of 800 really makes him a tank. But he would be incredibly high on this list. He would be in the top 3s if he just had more stamina and they changed his star card to not cost as much. If they implemented these changes, Grievous would be a top tier hero at the moment with the stamina that he currently has. Unless they fix something, he's the worst lightsaber character on the dark side.
Make no mistake.
Our number 7 spot goes to Captain Phasma. Now, this hero is very good. I like Phasma a lot. Her blaster damage is really good. The scope on it is amazing. Her survivor ability is extremely helpful, giving her that extra health. Her staff strikes, still, they aren't the best ability, but they are way better than they used to be. And they're actually pretty good. I use them quite a bit. And then her shock droid. Oh god, where do I start with her droid? It is so amazing. It is probably the best stun in the entire game. I don't think there's a single character who has a longer stun than her. But the one downside is her playstyle. You really have to sit by your droid a lot if you want to be extremely successful with Phasma, which in the end isn't a bad thing, but it personally just doesn't suit my playstyle or a lot of other people's. But these recent buffs have helped Phasma a lot. She's become a very good hero, and I think she is very, very viable. Now, if I recall correctly, she has a total of, if I recall correctly, she has a total of 650 or 700 health, and that's really good. And then her survivor ability gives her even more, and that can be a great help. And overall, Phasma is just an extremely balanced hero. No problems here. For a blaster character, being able to take out plenty of saber users is a pretty good trait. The only downside, once again, is her playstyle, but if you can learn to use Phasma without that type of playstyle and use her effectively, she can be insane. So yeah, it is these reasons that I conclude that Phasma is at the number 7 spot and is actually a way better hero than people make her out to be. Okay, so at the number 6 spot we have Emperor Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine is a very good hero. He's extremely good for Galactic Assault, honestly a little broken, and he's still insanely good for HVV. His dashes, oh my god, his dashes, where do I begin on those? The forward dash is so incredibly useful, it's not even funny. It's part of his major kit. And the fact that he has a force jump without even being a saber user is very, very helpful. His lightning is very good. He doesn't lose that much stamina while using it, so you can consistently use both hands of lightning for a very long amount of time. His Dark Aura ability is very good because it hits through blocks and there's nothing they can do about it. It can also go through walls. His Electrocute ability is probably his worst ability, and it's still amazing. It stuns the opponent for a little while. It doesn't deal any damage as far as I know. It might deal a little bit, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, it can be blocked and it can be rolled out of, so it's a little hard to hit. And when you do, it's not that rewarding, but it's still a very, very well balanced ability, and then his chain lightning is incredibly useful. I don't really know what to say about it. You just have to experience it to really know what I'm talking about. The one downfall that you'll see, and probably Palpatine's biggest weakness, is Obi-Wan's mind trick. Because of the amount of times Palpatine needs to dodge to be useful against heroes, Obi-Wan's mind trick really hurts him in the end there, and that's not really a good thing. But all these things combined, along with the fact that he has 700 health, is extremely good. And I find that awesome. And his health card, it is okay. I mean, you have to hit people with chain lightning to get health. And that's not the end of the world. It's a pretty easy thing to do. But in the end, he would be broken if he had a regular health card like most heroes. And if I recall reading correctly, they're giving him a health card that's normal to every other hero from what I've heard. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but if it is, he will be broken. But if not, then he'll still be broken. So yeah, all these things combined makes me put Palpatine in the number 6 spot. I find him a very well balanced hero, especially for Galactic Assault. He's broken, and for HPV, he's not my top choice, but he can shred through opponents if you know how to use him effectively. Okay, so at the number 5 spot, we have Bosk. And I know a lot of people rank Bosk higher, but personally, I still think he's incredible. Like, he's still a top tier hero. There's just 4 others that are better than him, in my opinion. So, yeah. I feel like he does deserve to be at the number 5 spot, and here's why. So he has 600 health, which is as much as Boba, which is not very good when at first glance, but then if you really think about it, is very fair for Bosk because he is the only hero who can regenerate his health back to full without any star cards, and that is already overpowered in itself. And his 3 abilities are incredible. His Relby rifle is amazing. When you're zooming in, it's a sniper and deals massive damage when you let it load up enough. He has a jump that is very high, not as high as Palpatine's, but still very high. And his regular fire, when you're hip firing, is very good. It is extremely damaging and does, like, it is very reliable. His 3 abilities are incredible. His proximity mines are hands down his best ability. They deal so much damage, and with star cards you can put out more of them, making it even better. His micro grenades is an incredible ability. It hits through blocks and does massive damage, and it lasts for a while, and it lets him go into infrared vision, which everything turns blue except if there's a heat signature, it turns red, which makes spotting enemies easier. And then his Dioxis grenade is useful for clearing out objectives and causing stress on the opponent, leaving them pretty much open to anything you can do. And his rolls are very useful. He does rely on them a lot, and his jump is extremely helpful considering how low his health is. And yeah, just all of these things combined really make me think he could be a little higher on this list depending on who's ranking it, but personally I find there are other heroes that are better, but he is hands down the best blaster character on the dark side.
I don't.
Okay, so at the number 4 spot we have Count Dooku. I find Count Dooku a extremely good villain. His 3 abilities are amazing. He has a base health of 750, which is very good considering how good he is in a duel. He has 3 dashes unlike any other hero in this game, which is very, very useful. His damage with his lightsaber is absolutely amazing, and he's just overall a very well balanced hero. He has extremely high stamina, and when you use your duelist ability, he does even more damage and has a little bit more stamina if I recall. And his exposed weakness ability, well paired with duelist, can pretty much 3 or 4 shot almost any hero in the game. And also with the exposed weakness, when you kill the hero that has exposed weakness active, exposed weakness's cooldown is instantly refreshed and you can use it again. And then his lightning ability, lightning stun, it is very, very useful. It knocks the opponent to the ground and deals damage to them. This is extremely useful, and it is a lot of fun when combining a lightsaber and Sith lightning, which I find is very unique and makes Dooku a whole lot more fun to use. And with these 3 dashes allows him to best almost any opponent in a duel if they don't know what they're doing, or they do know what they're doing. Honestly, if you know what you're doing with Dooku, you will most likely always win a 1v1 unless the opponent is literally a god. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Dooku. If there is one hero that I recommend you buy, if you're thinking about buying either Grievous or Dooku, definitely get Dooku.
Presumptuous. You should lay down your weapons and then
Okay, so now we are getting into the top 3 heroes or villains in Battlefront 2. So at the number 3 spot, I chose Kylo Ren. Now, Kylo Ren is a very good hero. He has high stamina, has a total of 750 health, and very fast movement speed. His damage is very good, and his 3 abilities are incredible. His Force Pull ability does damage and pulls the opponent towards you, knocking them down and allowing you to get a free hit, which is very useful. His Frenzy ability lunges Kylo forward, dealing multiple strikes and hitting through the opponent's block, and his Freeze ability is pretty self-explanatory. Like in the movie Force Awakens where he freezes the bullet, instead he freezes people. So he will stick his hand out and freeze the opponent for an absurd amount of time, just leaving them open to damage. And if any lightsaber comes in contact with that hero while they're frozen, it'll immediately unfreeze them, but any blasters will not unfreeze them. So this can lead to some very deadly combinations, which I've seen and have used time to time. And with these things all combined, Kylo can be a beast. If there's one hero that I really want to make a hero guide on, it's definitely Kylo, and I'm probably going to be working on that very soon, but it won't be out for a little while. And yeah, I find Kylo a very, very well-balanced hero, and at times, I've never heard anyone say this, but I find that Kylo can be a little broken here and there. Okay, so at the number 2 spot, we have Darth Maul. Now, this was an extremely hard choice to make. I was really debating between either putting Darth Maul here or my number 1, and I ultimately decided to put Maul at number 2 because the person ahead of him is just slightly better. Now, Maul is incredible. He has 700 health, which is amazing for a character his speed. He has extremely good stamina, 2 dashes, and he is the fastest hero in the game besides Boba Fett, obviously. And he does extremely high damage, which I don't know why I'm saying that. He does pretty much the same damage as the other dark side heroes. Forgive me, I didn't mean to say that. And with the new addition for him to be able to block and his new saber throw, he has become incredibly powerful. So, yeah, I don't know if all of you knew that. He has gotten the ability to block. So, yeah, his Furious Throw ability is insane. It does damage and hurls the opponent forward, which is really useful for knocking opponents off the map, as you can see a lot in his background gameplay. He has his dash attack, which default has 2, and with star cards makes it 3. He lunges forward, dealing damage, and yeah, gaining high mobility. And then his Furious Throw, which was recently changed to throw horizontally, now is very effective. It does high damage, and with the use of star cards does even more. And one of the best things about Maul is he has another star card that allows him to recharge all of his abilities 10% faster, which can be very, very useful in the end. So yeah, with all of these things combined, I've come to the decision that Darth Maul is, without a doubt, in the top 2, and in this case, at the number 2. Okay, so I think everyone and their grandma and their dog saw Vader coming in at the number 1 spot. So Vader is incredible. He's got 950 health, which is absolutely amazing. His 3 abilities are phenomenal. His dashes are mediocre, but still incredible. And with his Focus Rage, he gets an extra 200 health. So Vader does high damage with his Saber Strikes, and is just overall a complete tank due to his high stamina as well. The only downside is his movement speed, which he definitely makes up for with his brutal strength and relentless charges towards the opponent. So, Vader's 3 abilities are Saber Throw, Force Choke, and Focused Rage. Furious Throw is, Lightsaber Throw. Throws his lightsaber horizontally, dealing a lot of damage, and then it comes back to Vader, dealing damage again if the opponent is unlucky enough or not paying attention. His chokehold ability, I keep thinking of Darth Maul's ability. His choke ability is very good. He lifts the opponent up, dealing damage to them over time and making them stationary, but also leaving himself extremely exposed. Then his Focused Rage ability is very, very good. So it gives him an extra 200 health and gives him a lot more stamina, which is insanely good, even though he doesn't really need the extra stamina.